Those of you that watch the channel for quite a while, you know that I've been very critical of Airbnb. Airbnb in the ghetto, it partially works and it partially doesn't work. It depends on the type of guest that you're receiving. So in the ghetto, I receive a lot of guests that were basically down on their luck, bargain basement type customers that didn't have a lot of money. The problem arises when guests book your unit, but they have a little bit more money and they can afford to live elsewhere. And once they arrive to your listing, they realize that the area is too unsafe to live. So here is a review of someone, a buddy of mine who had an Airbnb guest who expressed those concerns in an email message. You see that message on the screen. I ended up not staying last night. I had to report for my volunteer duties this morning at 7 a.m. So I only had 7 hours before being up and reporting for work. So I got a hotel in a better area. I pulled up in the alley behind the house and felt very unsafe. So this again is a guest that clearly could afford a hotel, but he probably booked this Airbnb, thought it was a good price. The pictures may have looked nice, but the area, the surrounding neighborhood felt unsafe. The last 4 blocks of arriving at the house, I had squads of people yelling at my car sitting at stoplights. People catcalling, and it just felt very unsafe. I felt so unsafe that I wasn't going to pull into any parking spot to look at my phone in that area. I've never been in DC before, so I had no idea where I was. It took over an hour to get through the city and find an actual parking spot to look on my phone. It was almost midnight by the time I guess the guest was able to book a hotel or arrive. Anyway, so this is my a buddy of mine who is an Airbnb host, and this was the message that he received. So the guest clearly canceled the booking. He didn't. My buddy did not get any money for this reservation. And part of the reason why he didn't get any money, he gave the guy a full refund, is because he didn't want a bad review on Airbnb, and that is part of the problem there when renting in the ghetto. If you end up booking a guest like this person who clearly can afford better accommodations, and he stays there, you're going to get a bad review. On the other hand, you're dealing with people who don't have a lot of money, who are going to be a little bit more destructive to your property, but they're probably more in line with the customers that you're able to accommodate based upon your location and the condition of his apartment. We've profiled his apartment on the channel. It's not a renovated apartment, and so an unrenovated apartment in the ghetto is not going to be very ideal for Airbnb. And again, this is the message that the guy sent my buddy about not saying it's Airbnb. And one of the things about this reservation that comes to mind is this was a last minute reservation. So this person probably was looking at the last minute. He booked my buddy's place in a haste, but when he arrived there, it was too unsafe, cat calling, people standing out at stoplights. And for those of you that are familiar with the area, this is Anacostia, Washington, D.C., southeast. And this is the area right here. This is across the river from official Washington, D.C. Some of the headlines from the news: man hospitalized, 3 arrested after shooting in D.C.'s Anacostia neighborhood. Woman hurt in Anacostia shooting. Man shot and killed in Anacostia. Teen boy taken to the hospital after shooting in southeast, more like Anacostia, 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 and so on and so forth. And so this is part of the reason why Airbnb hosts have a hard time making a go of it in these poor neighborhoods because they're only going to be able to get one type of guest that they can easily satisfy. The rest of the guests are either going to feel uncomfortable during their stay and write a bad review, or just cancel outright. Once again, I am John Galt, the Urban Landlord. Thank you for watching.